Oh, we haven't taken it live. Yeah, we hit the wrong buttons. Yay for getting the wrong buttons, man. I thought I had it all going live there and it didn't. All right, let's try this one more time. So this show's a minute late for full live. All right, off we go. A little bit of music to carry us through till beginning of the show.
Don't claim to know your story, don't even have my own. In search for glory, gone with them sacred rules of old. They went missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Preacher man discovered, passed down from stage to stage, like a kind-hearted lover who's been lost on this stage. Went missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, sitting doing time.
Not saying they're right or wrong. I ain't no Texan dancer, well move it right along.
We're missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Chunky and the Chigger just seen who done the crime. Captain pulled the trigger, guess who's doing time? They went missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, is he yours or is he mine?
Definitely mine. Nailed it. We all need rituals. Put our headspace right.
Don't claim to know your story, don't even have my own. In our search for glory, gone with them sacred rules of old. We're missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Devil's at a crossroads, Joker's doing fine. Just sitting doing time.
Yeah. Alrighty, well, there we go. Time to take it live and bring the show up. Slight modifications in the show today, but we'll discuss those as we get started. Life gets in the way sometimes, and well, we just roll with the punches and move it right along. Alrighty, I think that's everything. I've got it all tied up. All the buttons and knobs, dials and pegs have been played with, and they are up and excited. So let's get this down the road. Off we go. Wind this puppy up. It's episode 459 with plugins for formulating your PDFs for use, dealing with your site health, managing your media library, and ClassicPress Options, all coming up on WordPress Plugins from A to Z. WordPress. It's the most popular content management and website solution on the internet. And with over 80,000 plugins to choose from, how do you separate the junk from the gems? Join us for a weekly, unrehearsed conversation about the latest and greatest in WordPress plugins. This is WordPress Plugins from A to Z. Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be hiding out there on the globe today. Coming to you direct from the brewery overlook in beautiful Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. I'm John Overall, and of course I have the usual show for you today, but according to the Mueller Report, you are listening to WP Plugins A to Z, the best ClassicPress WordPress podcast in the universe. A big thank you out there to the No Agenda Show for their contributions of ideas and the occasional sound clip.
Squirrel!
69, dudes!
Absolutely. And this is a value for value show, and I look forward to everyone providing some value back. One way you can do that is get out there, hit everyone in the mouth, tell them about the show, spread the news, sign up for the newsletter where you receive weekly information, tips, and other stuff to excite you along the WordPress ClassicPress universe. You can also listen to the show live every Thursday at noon on my YouTube channel. Links are in the show notes. Okay, well, it is episode 459, and we have some great participation this week from you, the producers. I am still looking for more. This does have the effect of pushing aside the sword of Damocles off to the side just a little bit, so keep the feedback coming. This is 18 of 52 episodes for 2020. And as we are 18 weeks into 2020 and 7 weeks into the isolation lockdown game, it seems our government overlords are starting to come to their senses and giving us permission to finally get out in groups. At least here in BC they are. Starting May long weekend, we can start gathering with groups of upwards of 6 people outside of our family unit. That's kind of exciting. Kind of reminds me, though, of when I was a teenager and I was grounded for an extended period of time and then let out just a little bit. Okay, you can go to the store. You can do this. Well, I think this has been almost as long as my record grounding as a teenager. You'll just have to imagine what I did to earn that grounding. All right, and since tomorrow is May 8th, it is VE Day, or Victory Over Europe Day from World War II. This is an appropriate bit of news that has been coming out for our freedoms. And if you want direct information, inside information about life during World War II from a first-person perspective, go check out the website dearfolksies.com, where there are letters that the man wrote home to his family have been published for the last 4 years. I've been following that saga for 4 years. Well, I actually helped build the website. But I've been following the saga, and it's really quite interesting. And now they're getting to the point where Germany is about to surrender completely. Hitler killed himself a week ago, 75 years ago. So it's really interesting stuff. And then the letters in the last month or so have just been fascinating. So you really want to check that out. These definitely are strange times. Well, I say relax, folks. Take a breath. Go for a walk. Build yourself a garden. Realize that the world may be changed forever. We are getting through it. Save your sanity, your amygdala. Find out why you're not going to die. Go listen to the No Agenda show. And I do have more show spaces for guest hosts coming up. Anyone want to be a guest host, please feel free to sign up. And today I'm supposed to have a guest host with me, and I'm not going to give him the introduction because somehow we got crossed wires. He just didn't manage to make it, but I will try and get him on the show. I'll probably mention his plugins just briefly because I've already announced them back in the beginning because I was just running through my script and it just runs right through the brain sometimes. But I'll try to get him on the show later and see if he can join us. So we'll get more details on those as we move forward. Okay, so before we jump into the news, just a quick question for those of you listening out there. This is about WordPress. So these are some things I'm starting to wonder about WordPress. I know that WordPress is moving full steam ahead with Gutenberg. It's not stopping. It's not drawing back. It is going to be 100% Gutenberg. We got a little more on that bit later, but where does this leave you as a developer in the market? You know, are you going to eventually, or are you going to, or have you started to fully adopt Gutenberg and make it part of all of your development stuff? Or are you starting to look for options out there? Will you be eventually adopting it, as it's definitely not going away? Or are you leaving for other options such as ClassicPress? I'd really appreciate a comment about this. Either leave me a comment on the YouTube channel or reach out to me through the contact page at WP Plugins A-Z, or what you can do is email me direct at john@wppro.ca. So I'd like to have that information, share it with others. You know, I'll be very good about anonymizing your information to make sure it doesn't show up. Okay, so let's get into the news. What have we got for news for you this week? And let's jump this. Take a drink.
iPhone, schmyphone. The way I see it, the only good phone's a landline, and the phone should be made out of Bakelite.
That's right, everybody. Time for tech news. John, do we have tech news?
Oh, absolutely. We have tech news. Okay, so first up this week, what I've got for you is a nice article here about what is bounce rate, why it's important, and how you can lower it. And if you're not aware of it, which most developers are aware of it, or anyone who's marginally interested in their SEO is aware of, bounce rate is basically when someone hits your website and they disappear without going to any further pages in your site. This is a really good article that goes into that, some of the things you can do about it, maybe ways to help encourage people to move through your site, why it's important in your SEO rankings, and more. It's a pretty good article. It goes pretty decently in depth, something you will want to check out. This could help you out in your marketing stuff that you do out there. Okay, next article we've got for you here is an article to install WordPress on Windows Ultimate step-by-step. This is a way to build and install yourself a local WordPress install. Now, there's lots of ways of doing this. I myself use a plugin, or not a plugin, but a program that I pay a fair chunk every year called Desktop Server. And Desktop Server helps take care of that problem for me by installing the web server, the database, the PHP, all the other support stuff. But this is an article for those of you that don't want to pay it. I think it cost me $200 a year for that program. If you don't want to pay that, this is a way to do it manually. And believe me, from first experience, it is a chunk of work. So you might want to consider getting Desktop Server and save yourself some grief, but it is a good article to go check out and read. All right, coming back to the future of WordPress, the block editor is here to stay. And this is an article over on the Tavern, which I get a lot of information there about WordPress, of course, being that is their official spokeshole for WordPress. And virtually almost all of it is nothing but praise for WordPress and what they do. Occasionally they'll let something that's slightly critical, but I haven't seen serious criticalness there for a long time, except in the comments. The comments get really critical, which is really kind of cool. At least they haven't closed the comments. You know, if you get real nasty, they'll ban you. But at any rate, this is an article here that discusses the block editor and what its uses are. When you get down through this article and read it, you get to a point where you're realizing that they're talking about the block editor and WordPress and Gutenberg being aimed at the lowest common denominator for users. In other words, they're aiming for the people that use Square, Builder over at GoDaddy, Squarespace, and all the other simple editors and stuff. This is what WordPress is aiming to do. They're looking like they're going to be making some dents and damage in the developer community. Whereas people can do it all themselves, they'll get themselves a halfway decent site and some functionality out of it, but they're going to eventually run into problems. They'll need someone to fix the broken stuff or tweak it, but the regular developers, the people that develop websites, what's going to happen to them? So WordPress is pushing and moving away from developers, I believe, and they are just looking to gain that large audience of people from, say, Wix and Squarespace. That's what they're after. So this is a good article, good information. If you're in the development community, you'll want to read this just to get an idea on what is happening and what is going to be the future of WordPress. And are you going to stay with that? I'm pretty sure eventually I'm going to have to leave it. Okay, the last article I've got here for you. This one is a masterclass article from Elementor.com, and it's a really good article on how to use Elementor to build yourself an online store. And it does work very nice. I've used Elementor for an e-commerce store a couple of times. This is where I'm kind of stuck in the halfway world of, I like Elementor, very great for developing a website, very great for pulling things together, but of course, they've committed 100% to WordPress. They don't want to do anything else. Personally, I think WordPress is going to push them out, and they're going to have to do something like start their own service with a WordPress base core and then Elementor as the rest of it. They'll be doing some interesting stuff. Of course, they got themselves a large chunk of investor cash infusion a few months ago, so that's probably what they're working on to deal with that. Okay, that's pretty much everything I have for news for you today. So let's rock and roll it on down the line. This show here does not work without you, the producers, as it is a value for value model, meaning if you're getting any value out of it, then give some value back. Please support the show in whatever way you can. You can start out, and what I'm going to do here before I get into how you can support the show, I like to acknowledge those who have supported the show in the last week, those who have given large donations or have created artwork for the show. This week here, we'll start with the artwork because the artwork is really cool. I change it every episode, and I think that's kind of nice. It's different. There's not a lot of shows that do that. I got the idea, of course, from the No Agenda show that changes their artwork every week, and they have a large chunk of artists that supply artwork to the show. That'd be kind of cool to see here. So this week here, the art comes from Angel Lemieux of Koa Digital, and it's a really cool artwork that goes with the title of today's show, which is Freedom and Handwashing. And it's really great art. If you're watching it on YouTube, you can get the preview of the artwork before the show gets published later on, which is a really cool photo of someone washing their hands, which goes all hand in hand along with our current coronavirus issues. This week here, I do have an executive producer. So thanks out there to Stefan Osberg and Oversberg. Stefan Oversberg. So thanks a lot to Stefan. I really greatly appreciate it. Executive producers are anyone who donates $50 or more to the show. You get an official executive producer credit. Yes, that's a real credit. You can use it anywhere credits are accepted. And Stefan had the following note for me today, to go with this. Stefan Oversberg here from Semper Superior, the online marketing agency from Jurkischen, Germany. Yeah, I'm butchering it, I'm sure. Euskirchen, Jurkischen, Germany. I love your podcast, and it saved me hours. Please accept my small donation, Stefan, $75. So thank you very much, Stefan. I greatly appreciate your donation to the show. So, of course, that's one of the great things. So a big thank you out there to the producers who came in under $50 and those who have set up weekly subscriptions. They remain anonymous, and I thank you very much. And a big thank you to those who have hired me because of the podcast. That's as good as donating to the show. Now, of course, you can support the show by, of course, the first thing we need most.
We just need cash. I know a lot of people want to send blankets or water. Just send your cash.
Absolutely. Just send your cash. Cash is always good. But we also accept other things, such as submitting artwork to the WP Plugins Art Generator. Submit articles, news, and information. That stuff there helps me. I don't have to do as much research. And I will give you credit for what you submit. Absolutely. Unless you say keep it anonymous. Submit plugin suggestions for reviews. Again, saves me time for having to get out there. Believe it or not, folks, this show takes a lot of time to prepare for, create and produce and get it published. So any bits I can help, that'd be great. Plus, it gets you more involved in helping this out. Make it more of your show than just mine. You can also create a monthly donation at Patreon. I'm still using Patreon, and we are working on ways right now. My marketing manager is working really hard to figure out how Patreon works and get stuff promoted through Patreon. I believe eventually in the next few months, we will have some functioning there, which might have some little tidbits. I'm not overly excited about Patreon, but I will use it if people like it and get excited about it. Anything I haven't thought of, feel free to send it to me, john@wppro.ca. Okay, so all that being done, it is time to dive right into the meat and potatoes of the show. Okay, so ClassicPress Options. I really don't have ClassicPress Options. I haven't had time to do any research for ClassicPress in the last couple of weeks. Have you noticed the last few shows? I haven't seen anything just float up to the top. They're in their quiet season, I think, right now as they prepare to do some things. I know I did note that they had released a security release patch about, shortly after WordPress released theirs. So keep that in mind. If you're running ClassicPress, you should have seen that automatically happen. There's the usual stuff at ClassicPress to carry you through: the ClassicPress Club, the ClassicPress forums, CodePotent's website, all of that stuff there. They're still moving along at a nice steady pace. I know that as things expand and they introduce more stuff, it will take sudden jumps out there. Okay, so let's talk about WordPress plugins. The first one I've got to make a quick mention of. We'll get my person who was supposed to co-host with me to talk about it next time he comes on. And this is the web form to PDF form, Formidable PRO2PDF. This looks like a really great plugin. I look forward to hearing more about it. So what did you have from me this week? First off, I had this one called Moving Media Library. This is a program or plugin to help you move your media library between servers. And what it does is it outputs a database as a JSON format file that is then exported, and you can use that to re-import the information into another site on another server. And you even get the option to replace all the media user IDs with the current user ID that you're importing to. It looks to be a pretty cool plugin. It helps maintain things such as date and time, folder structure, file size, dimensions, thumbnails, EXIF data, etc., that goes with the media that's being imported over. This could be a really great tool for those of you who are moving a large media library. So something you'll want to check out. Really nice looking plugin. Go have a look at it. It is called the Moving Media Library, and I give it a 4-dragon rating. Hey, next up for you, another one for my co-host here who was supposed to appear, and it was called E-Z or E2 PDF, Export to PDF tool for WordPress. This is look to be a really great tool for exporting PDFs, and I look forward to hearing more about it when I can get him on this show. If I don't get him on this show, I'll dig into it a little deeper and use them. Both of these I've never used, and they do look great for dealing with PDFs on your websites. So something to keep in mind. Okay, the last one I got for you, because we only brought 4 to the table today in anticipation of having a co-host, but things change at the last minute, and I don't have time to throw a whole bunch more stuff in. So we'll go with this one here, which I had up, and it's called Disable Site Health. Now, I'm sure you've noticed, well, maybe you haven't noticed. There's many people that haven't noticed. Ever since, I think it was about WordPress 4, somewhere around there, they added a section under the tools called Site Health, which adds a bunch of extra pages for your WordPress site. Now, this is a really cool plugin, and it is useful. I do use it a fair amount for helping me diagnose stuff or check quick settings or other miscellaneous stuff. But sometimes you might not need it to appear. It does create these additional pages. It does create additional content. I'm not certain if it adds any load or not, but just additional stuff that might not be needed. Maybe you've got a client who doesn't need to see this stuff on their site. All sorts of reasons why you might want to disable these pages. And this is a simple plugin that does just that. Install it, activate it, and it disables all the site health stuff for WordPress. It was added in WordPress 5.2. For some reason, I thought it was much older than that. So it disables everything, disables all the site health stuff. Nice, simple plugin, does a great job. I give it a 4 Dragon rating. Go check it out, disable site health. Okay, currently, this show brought to you by...
Save time and money managing multiple WordPress websites. If you have several WordPress websites to manage, either for your clients or yourself, then you know how much time it can take managing them all. Time that is spent on mundane administrative tasks and then losing that time for your important business tasks. CMS Commander is an online service that solves this problem and makes managing multiple WordPress websites fast and easy, as simple as controlling a single site. By placing all your websites in one powerful dashboard, CMS Commander makes it possible to update, backup, and manage them all at the same time in one place. Features of CMS Commander include one-click updates of plugins, themes, and WordPress core for all sites, automatic scheduled website backups, website cloning and restoration, uptime monitoring and analytics integration, bulk posting and automatic content. Sign up now for your 14-day trial at cmscommander.com and access all the features that will allow you to manage more websites and save time.
Absolutely. And CMS Commander is a great tool. I've been using it, as I've said many times, for about 9 years now. And it saves me a lot of time in that it helps me identify sites that need updating. It can do bulk posting. There's a lot you can do with it. So check it out. Please use the link in the show notes. It is an affiliate link. They don't pay me for the ad. But if you ever decide you want to pay for an ad here, please reach out to me. I'll happily replace this with your ad. Okay, listener feedback. We do have some listener feedback this week, which is kind of cool. But first, a quick shout out to my biggest little fan, Johan, who is currently on homeschooling detail. If he does some research and practice, he could be the next great developer of some yet unknown plugin that would make life easy for everyone. It could be a really great one in the WordPress ClassicPress user universe. So go check it out. Thanks for all you do there, Johan. You're a bit of an inspiration for kids. Okay, and next up here I've got for you, this was a piece of feedback from Martin, and we'll hear more from him in a bit. Okay, and John, since you mentioned about the WordPress block editor being full screen by default, and I must admit, I don't like it either, I went looking for a solution. I found this blog post by one of the WordPress core developers on how to disable the default full screen mode. It's a really great article. The link is in the show notes. I am incorporating it into my plugins that I am developing, as it is confusing when you first see it. Keep up the good work. And then, by the way, I'm not sure I have any use for the Event Espresso plugin I won in the last contest that you had running. And if you could use it, keep the key. Well, we'll talk about that when we get to the contest. But thanks a lot, Martin. I greatly appreciate the note and the sharing of this information with the rest of the community. So you got to make it wonder, though, when they actually have to build something to disable something, that's when you know that what they might have created might not be overly popular. Okay, this next item going out is a request going out to you, the producers. Okay, and this one here comes in from Marv, and it's, "Hi, John. Been a while, and hopefully everything is going well for you over there. Wondering if I could pick your brain on a plugin needed for a client. They want to be able to send a quote from WordPress for some products and services and have the client able to log into WordPress to approve, question, pay for the quote. I don't see anything in WooCommerce to manage something of this scope, and I was wondering if you had any other recommendations. And then keep the faith on the podcast, man. We're still listening, Marv. So thanks a lot, Marv. I really greatly appreciate that folks are still listening out there. And it's really great to start hearing from you folks that are listening, because I'm beginning to wonder if nobody was listening and I've just broadcasted into the void. All right, so about this thing as I sent an email back to Marv and told him, I recall seeing something, maybe even briefly talking about something like what he's looking for WooCommerce, but I can't remember it, and I haven't had time to go do the research to find out about it. But we're putting it out to you, the listeners. If you know of something like this, please reach out to me so I can get it to Marv and I can get it on a show for other listeners who could benefit from that knowledge. So thanks a lot. Greatly appreciate it. Keep the stuff coming, folks. I really am excited to see stuff coming in this last week. And contests. We do have a contest. Thanks to Martin, who had won the contest previously last time. As he said in his note to me, he realized there's no projects he could use it for, so he has recycled that key back into the show. So we once again have a contest running to give away the key for Event Espresso. This time I don't think Martin will enter because we really don't want him to win. So everyone can re-enter the contest again. Win that espresso key, which is valued at $300. This is a chance for you. You can win the Event Espresso 4 Everything license, the Event Espresso 4 Developer license. You know, it's a very flexible plugin. I've talked about it many times over the last months. I'll talk about it again. Now, the contest we're going to be running is going to start tomorrow, May 8th, on VE Day, and it's going to run till June 5th. And that'll be a 1 month long for everyone to get in there, enter the contest, get their name entered to win this key. It is a very valuable key, and we'll try to make sure that we get this notified to everywhere and everyone we can to get lots of people involved in it. So make sure you check this out, and we'll bring you more details about it in next week's show. But starting tomorrow on VE Day, you can enter the contest. Okay, and that's pretty much it. So closing out this episode, the plugins that were covered were Formidable PRO2PDF, Moving Media Library, which I gave a 4 to, the E2 PDF, Export to PDF tool for WordPress, and Disable Site Health, which I gave a 4 to. Of course, a couple quick reminders. The next WordPress meetup in Victoria is scheduled for May 21st, and they're probably not going to let us have direct meet on that one there because I'll need a group larger than 6. So we'll do this one live again. We'll stream this one more time. The topic is coming. Any suggestions for topics from people are completely welcome. It will be broadcast live on YouTube, and any other information you can find out at WPPlugins A-Z.com/meetup. I do have a couple of interviews that I've recorded in the last couple of weeks. I just haven't had time to get the editing done, the notes made, and get them published. They are coming up. A couple of really great interviews with developers from across the globe. So look to those coming real soon in your podcast feed. If you want to be on an interview, simply contact me at WPPlugins A-Z.com/interview. And if you want to find out a little bit more information about my particular brand of crazy, go check out theroguestavern.com, where I'm doing all kinds of interesting things. And I've been putting up videos there lately about me converting a plain, simple, horrible backyard of grass into an edible forest. It's going to be quite the amazing journey as I've gotten into it for the last few months, but it's made some dramatic jumps. So check that stuff out. That's pretty much everything I got for you. So I'm going to let my girl take us on out of here. And if anyone has any questions, pop them in to the thing, into the chat, the YouTube chat, and I will get them answered. Otherwise, shortly after that, I will just close this one down for today. So let's let my girl take us on out of here.
Reminders for the show. All show notes can be found at WPPlugins A-Z.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the newsletter for more useful information delivered directly to your
Forgot it's
inbox.
tequila time.
WP Plugins A-Z is a show that offers honest and unbiased reviews of plugins created by developers because you support the show. Help keep the show honest and unbiased by going to wppluginsa2z.com/donate and set the donation level that fits your budget. Help us make the show better for you by subscribing and reviewing the show at Stitcher Radio, Google Play, and in the iTunes Store. You can also leave us a review on our Facebook page using wppluginsa2z.com/Facebook. You can also watch the show live on YouTube, check out the screencasts and training videos, and remember to subscribe and hit the bell to get notifications of all new videos. Follow the show on Twitter at WP Plugins A-Z. John can also be reached at his website, johnoverall.com, or email him directly, john@wppro.ca. Thanks for joining us and have a great day.
Thanks for listening to the show. This show is copyright by johnoverall.com. So until next time, have yourselves a good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be out there on the globe today.
All right, well, thanks everyone. Thanks, MDN. I greatly appreciate you showing up regularly and listening to the show. All right, so everyone, no one has any real questions out there, then what I'll do is I will rock and roll this thing right out the door, and we'll call it a wrap for today. So thank you very much, everyone, for showing up. It's greatly appreciated.